Hello and welcome back to VGOSTRAM, episode 9. I am your host this week, Cody, or Chemlicker.
And I am joining him. This is Eric, aka Giraffe,
And this episode we are doing Shadow of the Colossus.
which actually has a really weird mix of good and alright songs.
I don't think I have a single song under 6.
I have a couple.
I can imagine. But we'll get there when we get there. Is there anything you want to say before we jump right in?
I remember a lot of the earlier songs. Remember, I've never beaten the game, so I won't know like the second half of the game. I want to say. I want to say we went through half the game one day where it was just you and me and your cousin.
Yeah, we made it up to, I think, 13, and then you left.
Because I was there like literally all day. And I think we stopped like around 9 or 8.
I think it was earlier than that. I want to say you left somewhere around like 7.
Maybe.
But
Like I had a headache that time.
probably.
It tends to happen when I'm playing games in a hot room.
Yeah, there's nothing I could have done about that.
Well, no.
But anyways, I played this game a lot when I was a kid. I didn't necessarily beat it a lot as a kid, but I played it a lot. And yeah, going through the soundtrack made me realize, or made me remember how much I really love the game.
It definitely made me want to play the game again, or at least try to attempt to beat it. I don't think it's one of those games where I could try to do so much in one sitting. I would have to like do it in chunks
That's fair.
because like you're constantly like doing boss fights and traveling. Like in groups of 4 would probably be the most tolerable.
Yeah, sure.
Or maybe like groups of 3. Cause like what, 18 bosses?
16.
16. Then yeah, 4 would be good. Because it would be divisible.
Yeah, yes, it would. 16 would also be divisible by 3, too. If you did it by 5.25. Wait, no, 5.3.
Yeah, but I mean, who wants to do that?
Yeah, you're gonna like turn your console off mid-boss.
Or how about this? Just one boss a playthrough.
That is gonna be a short session.
Just one boss. All right, I'm done. That's it. No more for the day.
I imagine there's got to be people like that.
I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest.
Anyway, I'm sure we're going to sidetrack a lot like usual. So
Oh, of course.
we'll just get right into it. So the first song is going to be, well,
The prologue.
yeah, the opening track. Well, when you start the game anyway. So yeah, prologue to the ancient land. It's not a boss song, obviously, but it's still pretty iconic because it's more or less the first thing you'll hear when you join the game.
Unless you're like me, who'll just like go into the game right away. But actually listening to the song was actually pretty calming. And funnily enough, the song sounds rather ancient.
Yeah, however that means.
I mean, it has that old mystical feel. Like it kind of has a mix of like Legend of Zelda meets like Xenoblade. Of course, this is before Xenoblade. It's probably like
2005, I think.
yeah, that was way before. Because remember, this was on PS2.
Mm-hmm. I
And
remember playing the demo.
Xenoblade was Wii
I think that was, what, 2008?
around there. 2007, 2008.
So when you said you just jump right into the game, are you implying that you're skipping all the cutscenes?
No, like I just jumped straight into the thing.
This is the cutscene.
This is a key scene. Cutscene?
Yeah, this is a cutscene song. So as long as you actually look at the cutscenes, you would hear it.
All right. I thought it was one of those like title screen ones.
There is one, and it's at the very, 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 very last song. But anyway, this song sets up the soundtrack pretty well. Like, there's a lot of reoccurring themes, like either whether it's a motif or just the way the songs are written. Certain ones, anyway.
Yeah, there's some very samey songs, which isn't bad. It's those songs tend to be the ones I actually like. It's the ones that kind of derive like to a different sound tend to be the ones I don't care for.
I could think of a couple. Are any of them Colossus songs?
Yes,
I think I know which ones then.
because it's weird. The area songs tend to be good in like their own way because they don't sound like anything like the rest of the game. It's like they have their own instruments or like own style to themselves compared to like the Colossus music, which is very thematic between each type, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, I think this song is actually a great opening to both the game and the soundtrack.
Yeah, it was actually a really good song. Like first hearing it again.
I think the PS4 version is fixed because I don't know if you remember that the PS3 version is actual garbage.
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's something like your like resistance to like tumbling and staggering are like extremely reduced. So like any slight movement of a Colossus will send you like flying 20 feet.
Why wouldn't they just keep it the same?
I think they rebuilt it because PS3 required like stupid coding.
Wait, so that you based it off the PS3 version instead of just using the PS2 and going to PS4?
I'm not sure. I still haven't played it. I have it because it was free for PS Plus a couple months ago.
I want to say I have it.
Did you download it?
I believe so.
Oh, well then yeah, play that.
Eventually.
I know I said I'm going to go to Xenoblade, but I think I might play this first.
I still have to go through talks, which I'm slowly getting through. I haven't touched it in like a week, but I found out that I'm like at that point where I'm kind of like bored of games a little bit.
I've been there many times.
Where I'm like, I just kind of don't want to touch a video game for like a bit.
Yeah, you just got to wait it out.
That's probably why like I haven't been enjoying streaming as much. Like I haven't gone into a game where it's like, oh, I could just like go all hardcore into.
Maybe Diablo 2.
Maybe I'll start. Hopefully, just trying to stream it tomorrow. Even though I technically started. But anyways, to the song itself, it has a very Square Enix style of or quality to it. It's actually really high quality compared to what you think would be.
There is one simple reason for that.
Is it Square Enix?
No, it's
I actually don't know who
Sony.
the developers are. Oh,
but
that makes a lot of sense.
it's completely like a full orchestra.
So they actually had an orchestra just used throughout the entire soundtrack.
Yep.
What was the prequel to this game?
This one's actually the prequel.
Oh, this is the prequel?
Yeah. Eco.
Wait, so Eco is the sequel?
Yeah.
I thought Eco was the prequel, and then it was Shadow of the Colossus.
So, I mean, if you're listening to this, it's spoiler city. We're going to be talking about a lot. But at the end of the game where Wander gets sucked into the well and then gets reborn as the kid with the horns, he's the original curse of where that happens. So like all the little boys in Eco have those like horns. That's where he got it from.
Oh, okay. So then pretty much he's the progenitor of it. Then it goes into Eco.
Yep.
I wonder if Eco's a fun game.
I have it because I have the PS3 collection. I still haven't played it. And
You did
now
mention that.
going back to PS3 games now is so hard.
And I think The Last Guardian is the sequel to the games.
I know it's made by the same developer, but I don't know if it was an actual like directly linked game.
I think it was supposed to be like the giant goat dog thing that follows you around, or that you order around, is technically like a new Colossus, or like a baby.
Hmm. Anthony has it, but I've never played it for whatever reason.
It looked not fun.
I heard it was really frustrating.
I mean, you've seen the donkey video on it, right?
A long time ago when it came out.
He hated it. He hated the controls.
I'll get to it eventually.
As is everything.
Yeah, everything's an eventually. I'm like Blizzard when it comes to games. Soon, TM. Yeah, as for that song, honestly, 7.5.
I gave it a 7. It was a solid opener.
And the next song, which is Prohibited Art.
It's funny because you could tell what's a cutscene song, or what's used for cutscenes versus what's used for like areas and bosses.
So what is this?
This is cutscene.
Yeah.
I mean, this one was painfully obvious. I mean, there's also the very, very short songs. They're like 30 seconds, which are probably the easiest indication for that.
Yeah.
Granted, like every song is almost like a minute and a half.
It's a little bit disappointing just because like the loops are so seamless in game that like, wow, you never realize how short the songs really are.
Which kind of works in its favor in a way, because they nailed the song in like less time.
Yeah, that's a good thing from a songwriting standpoint.
Especially for this. Like, this is a cutscene song, and it's really good. It's a dark song. And, or I wouldn't say dark as much as I would say ominous.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. So like the overall sound in this song, I think, is a really like terrific way to kind of showcase like this is what the soundtrack is about. That's not a boss song.
And it shows like a huge range of emotions between being something that's happy, sad, ominous, or dark. I don't know where you would put the church organ that appears like later on in the soundtrack.
It's actually in this song too. It's just really subtle.
Huh. Oh.
That's actually just a tubular bell. There you go. There it is.
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, like the tubular bells and the pipe organ, which are generally used for like over the top, crazy, like orchestral kind of stuff, is used very subtly in this song, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I would definitely say the musical touch that they did was really nice.
Kind of thinking about it, this soundtrack doesn't have many like lingering, what do you call it? Chords? Like happy chords?
I want to say one of the songs is a little happier. I can't remember which one I noted down as being happy.
There's like 3.
Yeah, there's not many. They're there, but it's not often. This game is technically a very sad game. Or dark, depending how you want to interpret it.
A little bit of both. I'd say mostly sad though.
I would say more dark.
Yeah, while this song doesn't really play more than once, still gave it a 7.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 also.
It is good.
It's a pretty good song. Now we have Commandment. This was much more mystical sounding.
So there's a little bit of a recurring theme that I noticed in the game where it's very indigenous, whether it be North or South America.
I want to say there's like some Eastern influence there too.
In some songs, yeah, I can hear it.
It's a song later on that I'll bring it up when the song plays, but there specifically is a song that feels like a mix of Western, like the indigenous, like what you referenced, but like heavy Eastern, like mixed. and it felt like very intentional.
I wonder which one it is. This song, there's maybe only like 12 songs that didn't get put in the soundtrack, and most of them were these, like 30 to 40-second songs.
Which isn't too bad.
And yeah, I might have a little bias picking stuff like this.
I mean, you're the one that makes the playlist for the songs you choose, so
Yeah.
it only makes sense.
Yeah, as you can see, I love the indigenous like styles, even if sometimes they're not very melodic. It's just like the general atmosphere that comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to really go off of for the song. It's mystical sounding, has a very indigenous sound. It's nice. It does what it needs to, I guess. There's really not too much to really speak on it, personally.
I mean, kind of the same.
I gave it a 6.
I give it a 7. That's still pretty good for, I mean, considering it's, 30 seconds?
Like 38.
On my iTunes version, it's 2 minutes.
Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the YouTube version's much shorter.
Yeah, those only go for like one single loop. But yeah, good song. I like it.
It's not on the lower end, but...
And now we have Resurrection,
which is the return of the church bell and church organ.
I think this is pretty much just like the music that plays in the temple.
I think this plays after he gets back.
So temple music.
Yeah, like he gets back and then it's just like all the weird tentacle stuff that like sends him back. What is it? He's like absorbing like the darkness of the Colossi.
Their spirits.
So he's just absorbing their spirits.
Yep. And then those parts are key to unlocking Dorman's power.
Dorman, who's dormant.
Ha ha ha. And if you listen to him speak, you can hear, like this goes a little bit deeper. You can hear a bunch of different voices, which show that it's like a collective entity. So kind of like a cycle.
I mean, isn't it also supposed to be just like all the Colossi is supposed to be it? They're just like shattered parts of the same entity.
Maybe.
Because remember, every time you're like on the floor, well, as the game progresses, there's like more and more like bodies that go above you.
Like the people looking down on you, judging you for your sins.
I mean, you are murdering giant like I wouldn't even call them monsters. I would call them more like titans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Colossi.
I mean, not all of them are colossal. There's like
There's 3 of them that aren't.
Like the dog one that chases you around for like a good while.
Colossus, Nobia, and Kuromori.
Yeah, I don't even know their names.
I know most of them.
I don't think any of them had like deep lore, did they?
I don't think so.
Because as far as I know, there's no. I mean, maybe it's one of those things I'll have to like YouTube in the middle of the night, like right before I go to sleep. Just that way, it puts me on a tangent and like not able to relax because I want to just know more. That's just like
hyper specific.
That happens to be like every Sunday. It's like I will fixate on like a random topic. I won't be able to go to sleep until I just absorb as much as I can from it.
I guess that's a good way to learn.
It's how I get into like certain games like really hard, or I get into like stupid conspiracy theories. I mean, obviously I don't believe in like a good chunk of them. But some of them sound believable.
I'm not going to comment on that.
I'm not gonna even jokingly say anything because it could be bad.
Yeah, we'll move on. So the song I like a lot because like it sounds very dark fantasy.
It's very medieval.
It's got like, yeah, that's the Gregorian choir, which is one of my favorite kinds of like styles of like chamber choir. And of course the organ is just like a huge like cherry on top.
You do love your organs.
Yeah, without them I would die.
I mean, you don't know that.
Also considering like how kind of sinister the song is, it makes sense considering like what you learn afterwards.
That
It's
you're
like
being used.
Everything you're doing is really bad, and you should feel bad.
What is he saving? His girlfriend?
I don't remember the relationship, but her name's Mono.
What was the horse's name? Argo?
Aggro.
Who?
Aggro.
Aggro?
Yep.
I thought it was Argo.
1G. And then you're Wander.
Some terrible names.
It's Japanese.
Is it? I thought it was more of like a...
I meant like the story is, the game was made by Japanese.
No.
I mean, just be glad that they actually have names and they're not like, they don't suffer from JRPG syndrome where the main villain is Darkman.
I mean, which generic fantasy game does that?
A lot of Japanese ones.
You mean the Demon Lord who's just named Demon Lord?
Yeah. Sometimes localization is very necessary.
I don't know. You could just like throw names on a dartboard, and you're probably gonna get like a better combination that one ends up compared to what we tend to get.
Yep. But then if you go too far that way, then you end up with 4 kids.
Yeah, 4 kids wasn't that bad.
He's looking away. He can't even look me in the eyes.
I like some 4 kid stuff. Anyways, for the song, I gave it a 7.
I actually gave it an 8.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to give it an 8 or not. I like it, but it's just like it doesn't do enough for me to get higher.
I mean, 7 is still pretty good. Got a little acid in my mouth. We're good. Great song.
Pretty good. Now the next song is going to be Sign of the Colossus, which is actually a pretty iconic song, honestly.
Plays 16 times.
Yeah, it's like the lead up to every... I can't really say boss. It's like every enemy, really.
I mean...
Or maybe I should say it's the lead up to the encounter.
It essentially lets you know that you found the area.
And it's all about to go downhill depending on how things turn out.
Some bosses are definitely easier than others. Like, I forgot the name, but it's the stupid turtle spider thing in the dry lake bed.
Is that the one in the arena?
No. That's Kuromori. Although that one's still annoying too, especially on the PS3 version.
I'm trying to think the annoying ones. I know my favorite ones, which would be like the third one, I think it is, which is the very like stupid tall one.
The one with ball feet and the sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's fun.
That one's fun. The first bird one is fun.
There's only one bird.
Well, there's 2 flying ones.
Yeah, the second one is...
the serpent.
Yeah, and it's Phalanx.
That one's like one of my favorite ones, look-wise. But the bird one's cool. I hate all the the water ones.
There's only 2 water ones.
Which I hate them both.
Hydrus is the first one, which is the eel, and that one can be annoying.
I remember not liking that one.
And the second one is I forgot. But that one, I actually really like that one thematically, even if the fight is kind of, eh, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite songs though.
You'll know which one's my favorite. Also, I've always wanted to get to the last one because that one looked the most fun.
I have a lot of things to talk about when we get there. It's like one of the last few songs too, of course.
I mean, it's the last one. But as at least for the song, this song in particular, it's a good lead-up song.
It's actually pretty great. Like, it's layered across long enough to like make it stand out as its own song rather than just like a jingle. Like, it's actually surprisingly in depth, or it's surprisingly deep with how much it goes on for. Honestly, like, if you're playing the game regularly, even you probably won't hear like even half the song.
I feel like the beginning is where you would tend to hear this song the most, especially on that first Titan, Colossus.
I think it's Valis, something like that. But that one, yeah, it's appropriately the easiest one.
Yeah, but it's like the longest. It takes the longest to get to it because you have to climb up like that little ridge, and then you get up to him.
Technically, I don't remember the last Colossus' name. I just remember its code name, which is Citadel. So I'll be referring to it as that. Citadel takes easily the longest to get to.
Well, yeah, it's a giant fortress of a Colossus.
But like even before getting to its feet, you still have to do so much work. But it's cool.
I never got to it.
Someday.
Eventually. Yeah, I give the song actually an 8.
That's your first over.
It's a very good standalone song, and it's very iconic. You recognize the song once you hear it.
Even if it's only for a couple seconds. That little piano solo at the end reminded me of Dragonblight.
I don't remember Dragonblight's music.
It's okay, but it's kind of cool just because like how dissonant it is, and like the piano arpeggios are like really cool because they're just really fast and nonsensical. But that's a different game. Yeah, so I gave it a 7. Now we'll move on to the next song, which is Grotesque Fingers, which is the first.
That was Grotesque Figures.
I might have mislabeled it. So one thing that's going to be kind of annoying for me to deal with is that all the song titles went through original Japanese translation hell. So what I have on iTunes is vastly different than the playlist I made on YouTube. Like Grotesque Fingers or Figures, whatever it actually is. This one's called Monstrous People.
I mean, both work.
Yeah, so this will be the first real song, in quotes, that you'll hear. And by that, I just mean it's the first Colossus theme you'll hear.
And it kind of starts the trend of what becomes very similar between a good chunk of the Colossi.
Yep.
It has that very, like, abrupt start of dun dun, almost kind of like a Jaws theme.
So there's one very important thing for this soundtrack that needs to be set up, and Ohtani does it very well. It's the kaiju feel.
Yes, I would say for a good chunk that fits, and it tends to be the ones that sound the same. The ones outside of it don't feel like a kaiju feeling.
And generally that's because those are the ones that aren't actually massive.
I want to say some of the ones that end up being the non-massive ones are still pretty massive. Like I think the eel one has like a. I think that's one of the ones that's like overly sad sounding, or I think it might have been the bird.
Those actually share the same song.
Do they?
Because obviously they're not going to make 16 different songs for each Colossus, so a couple of them overlap. I think there's only 3 songs in the soundtrack that only have like one song. But
That's just
anyways,
lazy.
considering the budget that went into this, yeah, they could have done better.
It's lazy. They can try a little harder. Come on.
But in reality, so the guy Ohtani, he's actually worked on kaiju films before. So he worked on one of the Godzilla ones in the 90s, I believe. It was Godzilla, Ghidorah, and someone else. Mothra, maybe?
If Ghidorah's in it, or Ghidorah, depending on how you want to pronounce it, usually Mothra's in it. And I want to say Rodan, I think one time Anguirus. But it just depends on the film.
And then he's also done the score for the Gamera series.
Which is, for those who don't know, it's the other major kaiju film series that's out there that's not as popular as Godzilla.
Yep. But there's been crossovers.
I don't think so.
I think there has been.
I'm fairly sure they've never crossed over. Mainly because the company who does Gamera wants Gamera to be the hero, but it's kind of the main thing that happens over for when the U.S. ends up getting the license for Godzilla movies. He's not supposed to lose. They have strict rules whenever they use characters. Like, he has to look a certain way, has to have a certain amount of fingers. The dorsal fins have to be a specific way.
Okay, major spoilers for the latest Godzilla movie. Technically, he wasn't the hero on that one. King Kong was.
He doesn't have to be the hero. He just can't lose. He didn't lose. He got his butt kicked.
Nice save.
There's actually a couple times where I had to think about it before saying certain things.
Well, I mean, I'll trust your judgment since you know more about kaiju films than I do. The point is, he's done the music for the Gamera series. And that's the important thing because it's just more kaiju.
Yeah.
Also, I found out he did a song. It's a fan song for Diablo. Well, just Diablo.
Just the original Diablo?
Like Diablo as a series.
Oh, okay.
And it's almost cool. I say almost because he has a singer that I can understand why he uses her. But I guess it's a very taste centric thing. I'll link it because it's cool musically, but
it's weird.
Yeah, it's just the singer's style is very animalistic. Is a good way to describe it.
I guess.
I'll show you after. Oh, and that's where I found that interview.
Oh, the Blizzard one?
Yeah.
Or like the one in regards to the Alliance?
Anyways. So yeah, this song is used for...
the first?
Yeah, the first one, Valis, and then Barba, which is the one where you're running underground, through the, jumping over the walls, and he has the beard.
Oh, the one where you have to go underneath the thing,
yeah,
and he has to bend
down.
over.
Yeah.
And I remember that one. It's like the old man
model.
version. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the old man version of the same Colossus.
Yeah, those two share this theme, and makes sense.
Because one's the youngin', the other one's the old man.
Like grandpa, like grandson, I guess.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Apparently just once.
I mean, isn't that all it needs?
Yeah.
I also wanted to say that some of these songs kind of have like an old school like Dragon Ball kind of sound to them.
I'm assuming you mean like writing.
Kinda. Someone usually with the flute playing is what reminds me most about like old school Dragon Ball. They used a lot of like that little flute.
So you're talking about like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna know anything about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Other than that, I would give the song an 8.
another over. I give it a 7. Only because I think there's better songs.
I feel like this one kind of like sets the tone for all the other ones, and it's a good starter.
Absolutely. It's actually the first song that makes you feel like, you're small, as you should be.
I mean, I would hope so. This is the first and fourth Titan or Colossus
He's like
theme.
number 8 or something.
The old man?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Because
think
the
he's
fourth
number
one
8.
is Phaedrus, the zebra.
Is that the fourth one?
Yeah.
I could have sworn I've done the fourth. Because it goes. No, it's not the fourth one. It goes the first Colossus, which is like the regular dude one. Then it's like the horse dog thing.
Yeah, that's Quadratus or something.
Then it's like the absurdly tall one.
Yep.
And then it's the bird.
Nope. It's the zebra horse.
I want to say it's the bird.
Nope.
I mean, you should know. You're the one that actually played these games more than I have.
I think the 5th one is the bird.
Yeah, I don't remember the zebra one.
It's the one where it's very similar to the beard guy, where you have to go in those underground tunnels and then he like looks down. You have to jump on his like little dangling.
The little dangly thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I kind of remember now. Where you have to use Argo.
Yeah. Well, no, but you make him look, and then he'll be bent down, and then he like go around and then jump, or something.
Speaking of the horse, that horse shouldn't have lived multiple times.
Everyone's happy it did though.
Oh yeah, he's like best bro.
It's actually a girl.
Best bro in a title sense.
Yeah, I get it. I get you.
Horse did a good job. Well, it kind of makes sense it's a girl because you don't see like a dong flying everywhere.
Oh, God.
Riding
Thanks for that imagery.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll move on to the next song, which is The Opened Way. So I'm not going to name any like of the bosses that are associated with these because they're a lot more spread out. So these are what I call like the winning songs, which essentially just means you've engaged the like glyphs.
I'm not gonna lie, those hits are very satisfying.
Oh yeah, they're like meaty.
I kind of wish they made another type of Shadow of the Colossus game where it's just like that type of grand adventure where you're just like, it's not about like fighting a bunch of these like smaller enemies to get to this big enemy. It's just like you have to like hunt these down. Not in the sense of like Monster Hunter where you're using absurdly huge weapons to like take these down. You're just like a person with like very little means to do something.
Yeah, I feel like this game type should be explored way more.
Like you could literally just call it like a David and Goliath archetype, where it's just you're just this person, and you're gonna do like you're pretty much I'm gonna fight this T-Rex and let's see how it goes.
There is at the time it was an indie game.
I think I know what you're thinking of.
It was like a Shadow of the Colossus roguelike. Or just, no, it was Rogue. Where, you have one arrow, and you have to, like, keep picking it back up, and then,
Yeah, I remember
because it's a
that
rogue game, you die, start all the way from the beginning. And I guess Devolver picked it up and helped them fund it into a full game.
It was a fun game, and it had a really cool ending. It was called. I think it was called Four
Titan Soul.
Guardians. Huh?
Titan Soul.
Titan Soul.
I just talked about this with Matt last night.
Oh, okay. But pretty much the premise of this is like Shadow of the Colossus, like where you're set on a quest to kill these like beings, and they all share like the same little symbol on them. And do we want to spoil it? I mean, it's an old game at this point.
Go for it.
All right, so spoilers for anybody that's actually interested in. We'll put a time step. Or we'll do something to try to make it easier to skip ahead, or try to.
Go ahead.
All right. So, pretty much the game, as you like take on all these things. I think it's only like 3 bosses technically, and so they have this like eye icon that is shared between all of them. And then after you killed them all, you go into this last area, and you just are supposed to shoot your arrow through this like little hallway, and it comes back on the opposite end. This is where you find out that you literally have to kill yourself because you're one of these beings.
I remember that.
It was like one of the biggest like twists for me, because like, oh my God, you're just trying to erase everybody, like all of them. Like you're erasing all of their existence, not just these ones that might be seen as evil. You want all of you guys gone.
And the craziest thing is there is no text.
Nope. It's all to your comprehension of like what's happening. Like you're given these context clues within the game. There's no like text telling you the story or anything. You're just picking it up as you play. There's like certain themes that are followed throughout, which is a really good way of telling a story that's like on a basic level.
That's pretty much what this game does, aside from like the intro, Dorman, and the ending. And even then, there is like so much subtext that you have to like learn to read.
Yeah, like it's one of those things I'm gonna dive into more. But yeah, as far as songs go, I really like this song. It has that feel of like going against a Colossus. Like you're going against something that's very imposing, or like a formidable foe.
It's heroic.
And yeah, it's very heroic. Like it has very strong themes to it, and it works very well. I actually really like this song.
So because this is one of the, first winning songs you'll hear too, it's very rewarding if you don't know what you're doing and get stuck. Because you can only listen to the first song for so long. But then this is also pretty much serves as your like aha moment.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so this is what I do. Because the game, it doesn't really tell you what to do, really. It tells you to hunt these guys down. I want to say there's like one mention of like hitting the sigils, but you don't really know what they look like.
They're basically just light blue. Glowy spots.
Until you like stab the living heck out of them.
And then depending on who you're fighting, they might change.
Well, I think they change on all of them.
Not all of them. Some only have one.
I know the first one has multiple.
2, I think.
One on the top of his head, and I think one on his gut or on his back.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because when you start stabbing them, their eyes start turning red.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get back to that on a later Colossus too. But this song, like, it's heroic, and honestly, like, even though it's still pretty like dramatic and kind of dark, it's still one of the lighter songs on the soundtrack.
Which is still a strong song for like something so early on in the game.
What I meant lighter is like lighter mood wise.
Well, yeah, everything else is very dark or foreboding. Or ominous, depending on which word you want to use.
I'd give this song a 7.
I give this song a 9.
Wow. All right. Now I'm really curious to see which ones you don't like.
You'll see. And then we got a short one. It's called The End of the Battle.
And this just happens as soon as you kill the Colossus. And then, like, you're running from the spikies.
I mean, you don't have to run from them, but it's more fun to run from them.
It's even funnier jumping.
Don't you just get stuck in the air?
I think so. Yeah, this song is like misleadingly optimistic. Like it has a sense of relief. But
There's like a little dark undertone.
yeah, and you find out as the game goes on. It's kind of weird that the song is as long as it is because you don't hear past like when the original strings fade out.
Yeah, like you don't hear this part, right?
Nope.
I want to say that it's weird when after you kill a Colossus that the horse knows where you're at. I mean, I get it. It's for gameplay reasons. But I'm pretty sure the horse wouldn't know immediately that you just got teleported back.
I mean, even at the end of the game, when Mono wakes up, like as soon as she wakes up, then Agro comes in. It's like Wander is gone, but here she comes,
Yeah, limping.
homing horse. This relatively a short song.
It's one of the shorter ones, honestly. I think the next one's even shorter.
Mm-hmm.
But what I also wanted to point out as the song isn't very fanfare-ish. It's you took down a giant, like,
Colossus.
well, not all of them. Like, yeah, they're all the Colossus or the Colossi, but it's like not all of them are like colossal. Like, it's weird because I think of them more as Titans than I would as like a Colossus. Because I feel Titan fits better to describe each one. Because not all of them are colossal beings, but they are like a Titan where they're
big.
Yeah, they're big and powerful in their own way.
I can see it, but just for the sake of their game and their naming convention, they're Colossus.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But it's like there's no fanfare. It's just like it's like a relief. You survived.
And then the second half that you don't hear in game is not relieving. It actually goes straight back to foreboding.
And sinister.
So what would you rate it?
I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 6.5.
Huh. Who really enjoys this OST?
Oh, trust me. I have really high scoring ones.
And time for Castlevania.
All right. So Idol Collapse is the next one. And yeah, this is definitely short.
Very short.
It plays back when you're back in the temple. And it shows the statue like just crumbling on itself.
It is after every Colossi, right?
Yep. Every single one. Like you go back, people are standing over you. You wake up, cutscene, the statue crumbles, Dorman talks to you, go to the next one. Yeah, this song is very sinister for a reason.
Yeah, it's not like you're doing a good thing. I mean, you think you're doing a good thing, but you're really not.
I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 10. I'm joking. I gave it an 8.
Even then, that's still really high.
I really like the Castlevania sounds.
That pipe organ sound, like that's an actual pipe organ.
Yeah, that's a pipe organ. Like, that is a pipe organ. There's no doubt. And it's played very well.
I would love to hear one played like in this style in real life. All right, moving on to the next one. A Violent Encounter. This is probably my favorite Colossus theme. And
It's one of them for me. I really like. Well, it's up there. I won't say it's one of my favorites, but I really like it.
this one is very piratey.
I can't remember which one this one's for.
This one is for Quadratus, which is the second boss, the one on the beach.
Oh, the one underneath like the hill.
Yeah. And then Basaron, or however you say it, which is that turtle spider thing on the lake bed where you have to like put the geysers under it.
Oh yeah.
Hate that boss so much. Oh god.
Yeah, that one wasn't very fun to do. The horse one, or like the one on the beach, that wasn't really that bad. It was just a matter of like figuring out, oh, shoot its hooves.
Yeah. It's actually probably easier than the first one.
I feel like they wanted to give the first one be like that monstrous, like, or person-like monster. And then just like go down the list of different designs.
What's even crazier is that there's still like, was it like 8 unused Colossi?
I actually don't remember.
There's a lot of them. And the fact that they didn't make it in the game says a lot.
Probably because I couldn't figure out how to really make them beatable.
I was reading one of them on the wiki saying that like they couldn't get the programming to function correctly on one of them. So that's an interesting reason.
They probably do it now. Which I think now would probably be the best time to like start making this style of game. Because people like this game.
I'm down.
So would I. But I think that just I don't know if the demand is there or it's one of those risky moves.
Duh. The reason they never made this game or the second one is because of The Last Guardian. That game was in development hell from like 2007 or 6.
But I mean, that one wasn't really designed the same way as Shadow of the Colossus. People wanted another Shadow of the Colossus. They didn't want to, like... I don't know if they wanted a sequel to, like, the story. I think they just wanted more of a game where you're playing against, like, these giant monsters.
I'm definitely down more for the gameplay.
Same. I think it goes down to, like, why people like Monster Hunter and like, Soulborn games. It's like, it's a challenge going up against, like, a strong enemy, and that's literally all the game is. But
Yeah.
Instead of just, like, dodge rolling and figuring out when to attack, or pairing and then attacking, it's, all right, what is the gimmick to, like, get onto the thing for, like, the first half of its health, and then what's the gimmick to, like, get to the rest of it?
It's essentially a puzzle platformer.
Yeah, and your health is, like, the timer.
That is so weird when you say it out loud.
I mean, that's all it is. It's like they don't really hurt you. They just shake you off until you just take enough damage.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you think about it, none of the bosses are really... Okay, maybe there's some...
There's some that are definitely challenging.
That are... Well, I wasn't going to say not challenging. I was going to say more so less fair than others. Because their timing is a lot tighter. But they're more... How would I want to word this? Maybe more strict would be a way to describe it. Like, they're strict on what is needed to get done to beat them or, like, to progress.
I think that's mostly due to the PS3 version that you played. Because remember, they screwed up so much with that game.
That's true.
So the song.
But the song itself, I really like. It's very Shadow of the Colossus. Like, it has that very motif that is used for very giant enemies. It has the very imposing feeling sound. And it has kind of like
piratey.
Almost reminds me of like a Pirates of the Caribbean there.
Yep, it's the staccato, syncopated rhythm. Which, I mean, most songs do use it, but this one uses it the hardest. And I think it's also the, like, out of key descent. This song's great. Also,
Really
one
is.
of my favorite songs to play on Stepmania.
Is it on Stepmania?
Yep, just this one.
Well, it's your favorite one, isn't it?
It is.
So you gave it a 10, right?
Oh, yeah. This is an easily a 10. And I actually have like 3 more.
Really?
Yeah.
I gave this one an 8. I could probably bump that up to an 8.5.
Are you?
I could.
All right, moving on. So, Resurrected Power or Revived Power.
Depending on which one. But
This
this
is
is
probably the
my
most-
favorite.
This is probably the most overused song on YouTube, like by YouTubers.
Which is funny because it's like my favorite Colossus theme.
So yeah, this is another one of the winning songs. And honestly, like it's so like uplifting and like cheerful. It comes off as kind of cheesy.
I feel like it's overly triumphant, but that's not a bad thing in my eyes. I really like it because of how like bombastic it is. Like there's just so much energy going on, and it's so cheerful, which is very rare for this. Or I wouldn't say rare, but
That's pretty rare.
it's not common.
So I do like it, but to me, I think it's one of the weaker like main songs.
Really?
Yeah. Because like I said, I didn't give anything in this soundtrack under a 6.
There's a song I have as a 4.
Yeah, it's still a good song. It's very triumphant, as you said. It's a little too triumphant, maybe.
No, it needs more triumphs. We need more trumpets.
It's turned into a ska song.
I mean, they could.
That would sound terrible. I gave it a 6.
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Told you it's my favorite one. There's just so much going on and I enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about that one. You?
There's not much for me to say. It
Sound
speaks
good.
for itself. There's just a lot of energy and a lot of power when it's played. Did your mouse like completely die or what?
Yep. I gotta blow it out with compressed air.
I'm guessing dust is like blocking the center.
Mhm. So now we're on Silence.
I don't really care for this one. I want to say this is the bird one.
Yeah. So this song is weird because it's like I think it's the only song that's paired with like 3 songs versus like the usual 2. So it's like this song plays as you're climbing up the towers. And then once you actually get on the tower, then another song plays. And once you actually get onto the bird, then another song plays. So that's very rare.
Yeah, personally not a fan of this one. Like, I remember how much I hated doing this boss. Because it was just like climbing the tower. All right, now it's attacking you. Okay, now you jumped. Oh, no, you didn't jump at the right time, so it knocked you back into the water. Okay, now you gotta climb the tower. Okay, now you gotta wait till it circles around. Okay, now you gotta jump. Okay, you got on it. All right, you start attacking the wings, and your meter went down.
Didn't you say you liked the bird at the beginning of this?
I like the bird. Like, I like the design. And I like what they wanted to do at the fight. But the fight itself is really annoying.
Yeah, I can see that. This one's also used for Hydrus, the eel,
Oh, I hate that one.
and then Phalanx, the sky serpent.
I like the Sky Serpent though.
Fight wise, it's super annoying, but I think it's one of the cooler Colossi.
It's the most majestic.
Yeah, it's also the friendliest one. It will not attack you at all.
I think it goes into the ground, doesn't it? Like
Yep.
once you start attacking it.
Yeah. Well, you have to like pop its air sacs.
Yeah, so that way it like goes towards the ground and then it like burrows and then flies again. I really want to know the lore between these things. It's weird. I like to deep dive into lore before getting to these videos, but I didn't really think about it until like we started filming or recording.
What changed?
I don't know. I think it's just like the inspiration wasn't there until we started talking about it.
That makes sense.
Because there's usually like a little bit of hype leading up, and I felt like there wasn't really much hype for this soundtrack. Like the songs themselves, like I said, are good. It's just I don't think we really did any build up like between each other. It's like,
We generally never have.
I feel like there's usually some hype between each episode though. Like, oh, I can't wait for this one.
Maybe.
Because we usually talk about like a couple things, like, or at least in like the back of my head, there's like a bunch of things I want to reference, but it didn't really feel like there was that many for this game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it. So I like the song. Probably because I think it's like a drastic tone shift from the other Colossi themes. Like it's very empty, which kind of like adds to the atmosphere of like each place that it plays in. You know, the lake with the ruins, the other lake with the ruins, and then the desert.
The desert
with the ruins.
So you got the bird, and they got the serpent, and they got the bird serpent.
Eel.
Okay, so you got the bird, you got the eel, and then you got the bird eel.
Yeah, let's go with that.
But
You know, this actually kind of reminds me a little bit of oh my god, what's that zone?
This is a WoW zone, isn't it?
Yep. Spooky zone.
Spooky zone. Duskwood?
No, BFA. Dressfire.
Oh yeah,
God, that zone is so good.
it's like the only good zone. I'm so sick of going through it though.
I've been through once because BFA sucked.
I lost count. I think I had like 7 or 8 capped
Jesus,
characters by the
dude.
end of BFA. And the sad part is, like, for Shadowlands, it's just that intro quest. It's usually the areas themselves that stop me, but this is the first time where the intro quest stopped me.
Like
I-
going through
Just going through the Maw. I've never not enjoyed the intro sequence for any like game, but this, or any expansion, I should say. But this expansion, like, I dread going through it. It's just not fun.
actually Pandaria. I hate the intro.
I don't mind the intro. It's just the rest of Jade
Forest
Forest.
is dreadful. Even more dreadful than the Dread Waste.
I actually like the Dread Waste.
I hate it.
It was
Same
my
thing
favorite
with Town
zone.
Long.
That Krasarang Wilds was boring,
It's okay.
and then Valley of the Four Winds also sucked.
What's left? I love Kunlai.
Kunlai wasn't bad. I like the story for that one because it leads directly to Dread Wastes. I mean, there was some very boring and just sucky parts, but I would say Dread Waste was like the best one because it was the most different. It was just like, well, here we are pandas, and we like to drink, and we like to party, and we know kung fu. And then the next zone, okay, we're pandas, we like to drink, we do kung fu, we like to eat. But now there's like rabbit kobold things. All right,
I thought
next
you said
zone.
hobo.
No, kobolds. Well, the rat kobold, or the rabbit kobolds, the vermins. I hated the vermins. They were like my least favorite enemy archetype in that game. It was just like a worse version of a Gorlock.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then you go to the next zone. It's more pandas. And then you finally get to Kunlai, like the beginning of Kunlai. It's like, oh, it's not just pandas. It's like ox people.
Was that the Yongle?
Yeah. You get to like the Yongle and the Saurians. And then you get to the Mantid. And then the Mantid become even more of a presence. And it's like much better.
So that was a tangent.
That was unnecessary.
I give the song a 7.
I give it a 4.
All right. Next song is In Awe of Its Power. So this song actually reminds me a lot of Violent Encounter. It's just darker.
That's got a lot of these very samey Colossus songs that has very similar themes between each other. And then you get into like these spots where it's like, oh, well, this sounds like the other songs. There's some differences.
So usually on those, it's because they're motifing each other. Like there's the song that's split between the 3 smaller colossi, where it's like they're almost the same exact song, just like one has a different section, like a B section to it. So like, it's self-referencing. But I mean, yeah, there is obviously like a general feel to everything.
But I mean, it's a good song. It's done better than like the non-normal Colossi music.
So yeah, this is what I was talking about, where this is stage 2 music. This is not like the winning theme.
I think I know what you mean, because I remember this.
It's for the previous three mentioned.
Yeah, because I want to say like it's. I remember for the eel and for the bird, like flapping in the wind, for the bird at least, and for the eel, like when you're like having to hold on while like almost drowning.
Yeah, so like this is when you aggro both of them, or 3 of them. They're just kind of short. I mean, they're all kind of short.
They're all like a minute.
I don't really have a lot to say about it. Like, it's similar. It's probably more similar to Violent Encounter than the other ones. Even like the one preceding it, or superseding.
The sad part of like that was kind of like my gripe with the songs. I like the ones that sound the same, but because they all sound very similar, it's hard to really pick out why I like them. It's like, well, it has this sound, and I like the sound. But like outside of like specific ones, it's hard to really elaborate the same reason for liking the same sounding song.
I can understand that.
It was hard trying to be unique with each answer.
I mean, sometimes if you like don't really have anything to say other than just you liking it, I mean, that's all fair game.
I feel like it's not adding enough, though. I feel like I need to like talk a little bit more about it.
I mean, sometimes it happens.
I mean, otherwise we're gonna break our record of not being over like an hour.
I think our record was Diablo 2, and that was like an hour 20 something. And even then,
that was because it's mostly
17
ambient.
songs.
It was ambient, and it was also 17 songs. It was like 30. But anyways, I gave this song a 6 out of 10.
I gave it an 8. So the next song I hate.
Really? Oh, apparently I do too.
I don't hate the song itself. I hate what's associated with it.
What, death?
So whenever you game over, it has a close up on the face of the Colossus you died from, and those faces scare the hell out of me. And I'm not alone, because I looked at the comments and everyone was saying the same thing. I don't know what it is about them, but they're just like absolutely terrifying.
Well, they're Colossus, and like, I mean, literally the cover is I want to say, of a Colossus face like that.
No. Well, I guess depending on the version you have, the North American like standard version is just Valis, like the first one. He's just like standing and like looking at from the side like this, like from far away.
I want to say there's one where it's just like the face of the second one. Or like one of the dog-looking ones.
I don't remember that. But yeah, it's literally just their face, and it's terrifying. When the song starts out, it actually sounds very close to the Game Over theme from Final Fantasy X.
It doesn't really sound very game over-y for me. Like it sounds like church music.
I suppose I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Like it doesn't really seem sad. It sounds mystical.
I'd say it adequately gets the point across.
Mm,
There's no like really good or bad.
I mean, I guess it can make sense because you're not really the good guy in this story. Despite the fact that you're like killing all these giants. Or colossi. Or colossal giants.
Colossal colossi.
Colossali. Yeah, like it's not a good thing that they're being destroyed or killed.
Yeah,
I gave it a 3 to 10.
I was wrong. I gave it a 5. I think this is my lowest scoring song.
This is my lowest. But it becomes on the up and up, kind of.
We'll move on because bad memories.
Think of their face and their glowing red eyes.
So this is the farthest land.
This was the song I was talking about, which kind of has that indigenous sound while also having the Eastern feel.
So I would argue that this is vastly more Western, like medieval era style, like folk music.
I could definitely hear it. I want to say it's when the wind instruments start playing.
Like even the instruments being played right now are very like medieval.
Well, yeah, right now it's very medieval. No, it wasn't wind instruments. Like right now, it seems a little bit more like Eastern.
I think that's more in the writing. Yeah, this is very like traditional, medieval. Also, this song "Hard" reminds me of Cold Steel.
How so?
So, obviously, like Legram would be
That's
like the
true.
starting point, but then they have the like field themes that generally don't really sound like the rest of the soundtrack.
That sounds vastly different.
Like I want to say this reminds me of it was like somewhere in like Celtic or Legram. But I love this song. This song was like a big sleeper for me.
This song?
Yeah.
I don't remember how. I gave it a 7. Like I like it. Like it's not a bad song. It's not like a great song, but it has a lot going for it. Because there's like a bunch of mix of sounds and instruments.
Okay.
And I think it's the mixture of what I believe are two different sides of music being put together. At least that's how I interpret it.
All right. I can definitely hear where we're coming from on like the Eastern sound. Like there's an underlying instrument that's vaguely like ancient East Asia. Yeah, this is one of the other 10s.
This song?
Yep. It's so out of left field for me because like I slept on this song for so long.
I honestly don't even know when it's played.
Me neither.
I want to say it's like one of the traveling areas.
But I think this is probably my favorite non-Colossus song.
Which is not many.
Yeah, it's primarily just Boss. All right, we'll move on.
Next song is Creeping Shadow.
So this is probably my second or third favorite Colossus song.
I don't really care for this one. Kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings, though.
I can see why I would say that. So this is the one that plays with the zebra. And
Is it the one that chases you around?
no, that's the one where that's the fourth one.
Oh, that's right. That's the one you have to like trick into looking into the holes.
Yeah. So that one and Pelagia, which is the one where you have to like go on top of a building and it has no eyes. It's in the lake. It's like really towards the last. I think like it's number 14. You might have left him before you saw it.
Oh yeah, I don't remember this one at all.
But that's probably one of my favorite design wise. And they ripped it off in Omega Quintet.
Did they?
Yeah, I'll have to show you a picture. It's a little too
On the nose.
yeah, like it's not a very common design.
I mean, they clearly ripped it off then.
That game is almost good.
Almost good. I mean, it suffered from if you walk to the left 2 steps, you pretty much miss out on 100%.
Yep, and not only that, if you want to actually like clear the post game content, you have to spend real money, otherwise you can't win.
Wait, what?
Because remember, you only get like a finite source of like repair points. Like your currency for the game is used for actual currency, and then you have to repair your clothes with it.
Oh yeah.
And like, if your later outfits get destroyed, then you have to like it costs an absurd amount that you can't get in game.
So you pretty much have to like start over like a new game plus,
Just buy the points from the store.
like the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Is that what you had to do?
I think it was like, there's a couple sets, like $1 will get you like 10 million points or something. And I bought like the 1, 5, and like another 5, and I was still like running out.
Jeez.
So that's why I gave up on the platinum. I was just becoming too stupid. Another like big tangent.
For a JRPG.
Yeah, I think this is one of the better songs just because like how atmospheric it is. And like both songs are almost completely submerged in darkness. So the one with Phaedrus, the zebra thingy, it's like you're either being underground in a tunnel, being like enshrouded in dirt. And then even the overworld part is just like it's really cloudy. And then with Pelagia, you're in a lake and it's like completely enshrouded in mist. So it's still pretty much pitch black too.
Yeah, for the second one, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm relying on you for that description. But at least for the first one, I do remember that. I don't remember, or I shouldn't say I don't remember. I would say I don't really care for this particular song, as it's much more slow and creepy, which I guess fits for like the theme.
Creeping shadow.
Shut up. Other than that, it's just not what I enjoy out of like the Colossus music.
That's fine. Everything is subjective here.
No, I'm right. You're wrong. That's
Shut
the
up.
only answer.
No.
I gave it a 4.
Oh, that actually kind of hurts a little bit.
Does it?
I give it a 9.
Well, again, you're wrong.
I'll move on.
To a messenger from behind.
I'm going to assume this is the ones you also rated lower.
No.
Oh. All right.
I want to say that was like the last low one. Maybe like a few more. But this one is I like more because it's actually like scary sounding. Because it has like
Rightfully so.
It has like a lot of it's the high energy scary.
This actually reminds me of a Toy Sakuraba's like darker stuff, like Infinite Undiscovery.
That was a good game. Don't know if I'll replay it, but it was a good game.
I might play it once again just for the.
That would mean you would have to play Xbox. I could have sworn you like swore it off.
Achievements, yeah.
I like included playing it altogether.
I mean, now it's just like an extra thing to set up.
I remember you're like, I'll never touch my Xbox 360 again.
Maybe that was when I switched to PS3.
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, that's so long ago at this point. Yeah, so this song is used for Dirge. I think you've seen it. I think he's like number 10. He's the like sandworm.
Yeah.
Where it's
I
just
remember that one.
eyes chasing you.
It's very creepy.
Yeah, so that's why this song fits so well, because just the Colossus existing is kind of terrifying.
So you have to shoot its eyes, right?
Yep. If I shoot its eyes, then it'll crash into the wall.
Which is weird. You'd figure like a sandworm would have like vibratey thingies to help guide it.
It's for the sake of gameplay, all right?
I guess. Very unrealistic. 1 out of 10.
But yeah, this song is actively like creepy, which is great.
It's also got like a panicky feel. Like a fast-paced panicky sound.
And the whole fight, well, most of the fight you have to be on aggro too, because otherwise you'll just get
Murked.
yeah, outsped. I don't think I've ever died to this Colossus.
It's more annoying, if anything, if I remember.
I don't even think it's annoying.
Well, because the timing for shooting the eye is a little tight.
Maybe.
If you don't shoot it fast enough, and then it just like submerges again. But again, it does have like that classic colossal sound to it, while also being much darker and creepier.
It actually has a little bit of like classic feel or classical feel to like in it, or elements in it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Man, easy 9 out of 10.
I go to 7. Which I guess you can be happy about.
It could be better. So next is Counterattack.
Is it one of those other victory songs?
Yeah, it's a winning song.
I like it. Which, so far, all the winning songs I've liked.
I don't really think there's a bad one. I can only think of the one that I killed for you, but we'll get there when we get there. So this song is only used for the 2 desert ones, which is Phalanx and Dirge, which is the Sky Serpent and the one we just talked about.
And the Ground Serpent.
Sky Serpent and the Ground Serpent.
They're serpent bros.
How cute. They're both dead.
Thinking about it, they're just magical beings, right? Beings. I feel like I'm struggling with that word.
They're magical beans.
They turned me into a bird, Reen. I'm a seagull.
I can't believe how long it took you to understand that joke.
It had to be explained to me.
And you call yourself a crow stan.
I mean, he's in my party now. That's all that matters.
The song, I feel like this is like the better version of what Revived Power wanted to be. Like, it's very heroic and uplifting in a way. but it's not cheesy.
I prefer the cheesiness.
That's fine. You're wrong, but it's fine.
You say that. I don't believe you. I don't think you believe that. Not wholeheartedly.
You're right. There's not much left to say about it aside from just
It's heroic. It's high energy. And it's good. I mean, it's the very same feel that the other ones provide. It fits that mold very well.
I gave it an 8.
I gave it an 8 also.
I think that's our first match. There might have been one at the beginning.
Well, there was some where mine were higher. Is this Code Geass?
So most people would never have heard this song. This song can only be heard if you AFK on the menu in game.
Really?
Yep. And only the second time too.
What do
So
you
the
mean?
first time you do it, you'll just be following aggro around. Like she'll be walking around. And then the second time this plays, you're following like a hawk or something. And that's when the song plays.
Okay. It's very Disney sounding.
Disney?
Yeah. I got a Disney feel from this song.
Maybe? So this is another song I kind of slept on. Mostly because I don't really remember it.
But I don't think anybody did.
But I think this is the first song where a oboe is like present.
Yeah, I would say they tend to never use an oboe. At least compared to like a vast majority of the songs.
So I think this is definitely one of the other like hidden treasures on the soundtrack.
I was kind of guessing as to what kind of song this was. I thought it was like an area song.
It sounds like it, especially with that like creepy intro.
Yeah, that's what it was kind of like leaning towards. I'm like, oh, this has to be like an area song for like some place later on. But I guess it's not.
Nope. Like that beginning cue sounds exactly like you just stumbled into a new area. But nope, it's just you're following a bird.
Guide me, happy burb.
I actually really like this song a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 10.
Handing these out like hotcakes, aren't you?
I think I have like 2 left. The next one. So, Closed Off City. This one I just threw in just because of, the indigenous vibe again. It's the shortest song in the track, shortest track in the game.
Yeah, it feels like an event song. I felt like there was nothing like if this is not an event, if this is like for like an entire area, it's not very fitting for an entire area.
I honestly don't even really remember it. I'm pretty sure it's just like the jingle when you come across the city region.
I just gave it a 6.
That's fine. That's actually higher than I rated it.
And you chose it because of a specific reason.
Yeah, I gave it a 5.5. I think it's just because it's too short.
Then why did you put it on?
Because it's better than the other ones.
Is it though?
Maybe. But moving on. So we're on Liberated Guardian.
This is very similar sounding to like the other earlier songs, or one of the earlier songs.
So this one is actually what I touched upon a little bit ago, where this is the bass song, and then like the winning song is pretty much the same song, but it has a different B section.
So that's probably what I meant. Like thought when I heard this song, like it sounded like another song.
Yeah. And this is the song that's used for all the small colossi.
That makes sense.
It's really dramatic.
Well, because all their fights are like so intense.
Except for Kuromori. That one's actually kind of low energy. Probably the lightning scares a lot of people. That's the arena one.
Is that the one that's like on the walls?
Yep.
That one wasn't very fun.
Yeah. PS3 version killed it. I mean, even the second, like the later two, which are like the two bowls. Oh, man.
Were there two different wolves?
They're the same bowl.
It's like the one you ride, right?
One is you ride on, like, or you have to like ride it down to like the cave.
Yeah. You have to like figure out how to get on its back, right?
Yep. And then the second one, it's like you have to climb up all like, these like
The
giant pillars, and then it like knock them down. You just go like keep going, rinse and repeat. Another terrible one on the PS3. That's the one after
Wait.
you left.
They're the same ones, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not the same fight. They're the same model.
Oh, like is one bigger?
Nope.
So they use the same model for two different Colossus?
Yep. I mean, they're probably like slightly different, but they're at the core the same exact thing. It's actually funny. This is probably one of the only songs on the like Colossus songs that actually doesn't really invoke like the classic kaiju feeling.
The beginning of the song has a bit of a kaiju feel, but I mean, it doesn't make sense to. Because, you know, they're smaller.
They're about like the size of your average truck, maybe even smaller. So would you rate it?
7 out of 10.
I give it an 8.
It's pretty good.
The song is really hectic, and that fits the fights. And now we have a despair-filled farewell.
Which sounds still somewhat like the last song.
Because it is. It's the winning version.
Against like the smaller Colossi.
Mm-hmm. This is the song I killed for you and Mike.
That what?
That I killed for you and Mike.
Against which boss?
Neither. Or none. It was for the D&D campaign.
Oh, well, that's right. Because you just like looped it over and over. I'm like, I'm just sick of it.
That really wasn't my fault as much as it was for you guys just doing bad rolls.
I mean, you can't really do anything about bad rolls. It's just like,
Just get better rolls, forehead.
oh, yeah, let me just get better luck.
I mean, you're the guy with god luck.
I mean, there's points where it just stops. Has to balance itself out.
Yep.
I like that part.
I think this is like people's number one song.
I give this a
Generally.
9. It has really good build-ups. Like, it has very satisfying moments.
I'd say overall it's pretty good. Like it keeps the frantic pace that the last song had. And if like it changes enough to like kind of warrant, you know, it being its own song. And then yeah, that like climax melody is pretty good. Also, I think this is the only song that has like a choir melody versus like it just being like the backing chords for the whole thing.
Yeah, the choir really helped it out. That explains why I hate that beginning part. I'm like, why is it the beginning part I hate the most out of everything? And it's probably because of that whole D&D thing.
Well, that was like 9 years ago at this point.
It sticks with you, man.
I gave it an 8.
I give it a 9. This song reminded me of Kingdom Hearts a little bit.
So this is Prayer. And I wrote down this song reminds me of Kingdom Hearts mixed with Xenosaga with the writing of Final Fantasy VIII. That is like hyper specific.
I don't know. I would say a little bit more Final Fantasy X.
It actually has a lot of writing similar to Ami.
Ami?
It's one of the It's like a variation on the Ballum Garden theme.
I don't remember it.
I think first time you hear it is like disc 3.
Which I haven't been to disc 3 in forever.
I should play through it again.
Such a long game.
It's really not that long. I platinumed it in less than a week.
Well, you know how to, like, get the most out of the game. I mean, I would hope so. You've played the game so much.
And I'm still learning new things about it.
Like, for me, I just get impatient with the whole drive, like, the draw system.
You don't have to do it.
It feels mandatory.
It's not, though.
Because I feel like I have to draw for so long just to get the...
You literally only have to draw before doll it. After that, you don't have to draw a single time besides GFs.
I feel like you have to draw.
Nope. You just card mog everything.
You waste the cards?
Yeah, because you get broken items for it.
But the cards...
You don't even play Triple Triad.
That doesn't matter. I want to collect the cards.
You can't even collect all the cards unless you play Triple
I
Triad.
want to collect the cards that I can. That is a self-inflicted issue, all right?
Yeah, you got that right. I don't even remember where this song plays.
I don't even know the song was a song until listen through for the podcast.
But it's beautiful. It's haunting. It doesn't fit in anywhere with the rest of the soundtrack. But I like it. It's actually really cool because, you know, it reminds me of the aforementioned games.
I like it for the Kingdom Hearts feel, but there's really not much else that really draws me in. I give it a 6.
I give it an 8. It's not too far off. And now we're on Gatekeeper of the Castle Ruins. The second Colossus with his own theme song.
Which one was this one?
15. You haven't seen it.
What was it though?
I don't remember the Argus. Argus is the name. It's basically another human one. And there's like 2 walls on the sides. And then you have to do like some serious puzzle, like platforming, where it's like you have to have it step on a platform to raise it. And then you have to jump like onto the wall and then climb through like the entire walls. And then you have to go up to the very top, and then there's like bridges. And then you have to jump on it from on top of the bridges. And it's just like your standard humanoid fight. But just getting there takes so long.
You know what I was thinking about, like, throughout this entire podcast? That Wander is just like more pressured Link.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he has to solve puzzles. But not only is he solving puzzles, he's solving puzzles to kill these enemies.
And he has less items too.
Yeah, he's literally just using a sword and a bow. I mean, granted, he has unlimited ammo.
And his sword can He-Man.
I mean, not really. You could just blind the Colossi. Or no, you get their attention, I think it is.
I can respect it.
You can respect the hustle.
Yeah, this is another one of the fights that was ruined by the PS3 version. Just because, like, you know, if you're on the Colossus and he knows you're there, he bucks like every half second, so you can literally never draw your sword enough to stab.
That sucks.
When me and Mike were doing this fight, we were probably on it for about like an hour and a half. So this is another one of those songs that reminds me of Motoi Sakuraba's darker stuff.
I can definitely hear it. It has a different type of like dark sound to it compared to like the non-very normal Colossal themes, which I would say it's better compared to in comparison to the unique or more unique sounding ones. But I think I like it because of the darker bells and tones.
It's laid back in tempo in like comparison, but it's also one of the more dramatic songs too, which I think like that helps it. In other words, it cool.
It good. It good. I give it an 8.
I give it a 9. This is one of my favorite fights outside of the PS3 version.
I was gonna say I thought you hated this fight.
Normal version, I love it. I love the song, but the PS3 version, let's just disregard it. It's easier that way. Now we have the next song. So this is a little bit of a two-parter. So this is the final fight.
I was gonna say this is like legitimately 2 parts of the same song, right? Like there's because it's like a multi-part finale, I guess you could say.
So this plays the whole time you're fighting a Citadel. And it's also when you turn into the Colossus.
I mean, you don't really turn into a Colossus.
You pretty much do.
You turn into a thing.
But anyway, I think it is a fantastic like finale song. Like it is the epitome of like foreboding and ominous.
It feels like it's a perfect wrap up to like to the point leading up to this, where the name Citadel is very fitting because it has church-like themes, like the church bell is usually used for when you're at that like cathedral in the beginning of the game. It also has like the church chorus
Fair.
and makes it seem like this. Well, I mean, the fight it is very awe-inspiring.
Also, his name is Malice.
The boss.
Yep. And the second half where the cello kicks in. Yeah, that's essentially like the second phase.
All I know is that this boss is like literally the hardest boss because there's just so much that could go wrong.
Mm-hmm. And like I said before, there's like the part leading up just to getting to him, where it's like you start behind a cliff and then you have to like go up the cliff and then you have to go through this like a little mini dungeon on the outside, and then you have to go inside to hide from his lightning bolts. And then you have to like just go and like do a bunch of platforming, like ducking behind stuff that he doesn't kill you. And then after like a good couple minutes, then you can finally run up to his feet and like start climbing him, which takes forever as well.
Wait, he has feet?
Yeah, he has feet, but he's pretty much immobile.
I was gonna say I thought he's just like a torso and like waist and then like upper body.
He looks like Ragnaros.
Too soon.
Wait, what do you mean too soon?
It's what Ragnaros says when Executus or
Oh, yeah. Executus.
yeah, that dude. When he summons him.
I thought you were legitimately saying too soon, as in like he died, in like 2005.
No.
Well,
I mean,
same year.
he dies twice, technically.
And now he's cool. He's a holy.
Well, that's only like the Hearthstone version. And now he's dead. Like dead.
Good riddance.
Yeah, this is a good song. I give it a 9.
Me too.
This song is a mood. You skip quite a bit there.
I had a cross-reference titles. So now we're on Demise of the Ritual.
I'm actually not sure where this plays.
Whoops, that was the last one. Premonition of Revival. So this is when you kill Citadel, and Dorman is essentially fulfilling your wish.
Reviving your dead girlfriend.
Yep. And then taking over you.
And then those people like show up, right?
Yep. Rightfully so. This is pretty much like a jingle. It's 30 seconds.
It's a jangle. I give it a 5. No, I would give it a 6.
So, as you can guess from the song itself, it's very sinister. And for very good reason. You goofed.
You really do.
Dormant awoke. You're no longer of your conscious mind. People are here to seal you away. You play your mistakes.
I mean, you get out, don't you? I thought whatever her name is has you and Aggro escape.
No. We'll talk about that in the next song. So what happens is you get taken over by Dorman, and then you turn into pretty much another Colossus, and you're fighting the church people, but you're being dragged in by the well. And finally, you're just fighting them, and you're just essentially just like pushing them away. And finally, one of the guys sets off the ritual to like seal you away. Then they all evacuate. And that's when you start getting dragged into the well. And then you have to control it, like stay out as long as you possibly can. And there's even a trophy for it. Like if you could stay out of being sucked in for like a minute or something.
Is it like absurdly hard or what?
It's pretty hard. I think there's like a cheese.
I mean, there usually is.
Yeah, but it's inevitable. So you get sucked in, and then that's when Wanderer gets reborn as like the cursed child.
The evil baby. Do you want this baby? We don't want it anymore.
I'd give it a 7.
Give it a 6. I mean, with the context, I'd probably give it 6.5.
This is probably one of like the saddest credit sequence I've ever seen in any media. So this is the epilogue. Those who remain. So this is what plays after you lose, essentially.
I mean, do you really lose?
Yes.
But you got your wish. Your girlfriend's alive.
I mean, yeah. This is like setting up like you're sucked in, and then the people like I don't even know what they are, like church people, I suppose you
The
can call them.
crusade.
They're like leaving, and this is when Mono wakes up, and then Aggro comes back, limping.
He's like, yeah, you thought I died. Or she is like, oh, you thought I died, but I came back stronger.
Except for my leg.
A broken leg.
But like after there'll be like a certain swell. It's like when the actual credits start playing. And that's when it gets like really sad. I'm actually gonna wait for it. Because there's like things I want to talk about. But essentially, yeah. You lose. Game over. You goofed.
I mean, it's not really game over. I mean, the game's ended.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah, so game's done.
Yeah.
Not game over. Game over means you lose.
The game's done. The game's over.
No, the game, you beat the game.
Yeah, game is over.
No, the game's done. You have accomplished the game.
Yeah, the gameplay is over. You can no longer play.
Shut up.
Honestly, that scene, like even before the credits play, when the people are like riding away on the bridge, I think it's like cool and sad at the same time.
Well, doesn't the bridge collapse?
Mm-hmm. They blow it up.
Like sealing him in like this valley church place.
Mm-hmm. And it was something like now no man should ever like walk upon these lands again. And then they said something along the lines of like, even if you've made it, it's like something like, I hope you can atone for your sins. Oh, it was really cool though. So yeah, this is where the credits start playing. And then like at first this is kind of like whatever. And then like the real the like sudden realization of like what you've like everything you've done like finally comes to like fruition. Like it just shows like all the colossi essentially like merged with the floor or the nature around it.
Wait, do their bodies stay there?
Yep. Like they're saying like so much time has passed that like they're literally just like one with the ground now essentially. It was like super depressing.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they were made out of like stone and earth, anyways.
They got some got meat.
Kind of. Some have sacks.
But anyway, the rest of the credits is just like, what I said before, the people riding away on the bridge and like Mono waking up. Honestly, I gave the song a 9.5 just because like the song itself, like it is good, but it's not like great, but the context is what like heavy sells it.
Yeah, I only gave it a 7. I wasn't really sure what. I mean, I figured it would be like the ending for it, as well as like the credit scenes. But I mean, I don't really have the context for it to really. Or at least when I initially graded it. So I could probably bump it up to an 8. But like, not probably any higher than that.
That's fair. As you can probably guess, things are a little bit happier now.
Just a little bit.
This is where she discovers Wander as a little baby.
A little babby. With horns. He's a horny baby.
All right. We'll move on. Especially after that. So his next one is Hope.
Doesn't sound very hopeful.
The way it starts off is very
Dark.
yeah. The very opposite
depressing.
of Hope. But this is like essentially where they wander up towards the top of the temple.
Wander.
Alright, so where they all go to the top of the temple. And it's like all wildlife and like full of like greenery and stuff. And then Mono becomes a Disney princess, even though they're actually going after Baby Wander.
What do you mean going after Baby Wander? I thought she has Baby Wander.
Well, she does. Like she's holding him in her arms. But like all the animals, like it's like a deer, a bird, and something else. Like they're just like approaching him like a Disney princess.
Is he pretty?
Yes. That is the hopefulness.
So where does the whole village for Eco take in then?
I have no idea. I would assume in the same area.
Wasn't Eco never released in North America before the combo pack?
No, what it was just extremely low print. So it became an extremely rare game inside North America until the PS3 re-release.
Was it similar gameplay?
No, it was like something else. From like the small bit I've seen of it, it kind of looked like, more puzzle platforming with like Devil May Cry camera.
Like the first Devil May Cry?
I don't know. It's just
where it's
kind of
like very awkward.
It's a little bit similar to like the Code Veronica camera, where like it's fixed angles, but then it kind of follows you.
Yeah, so first Devil May Cry, I would say. I wasn't really a fan of the song, honestly. Just because how weird it was. Like, it was creepy. It threw me off.
So would you rate it?
I give it a 5.
All right.
I'm like, so when I first heard it, I'm like, this sounds nothing. There's like not hope. This is the song you would make when you want people to despair.
Yeah, it changes in the half.
It's like, I'm gonna cut off this person's leg and throw him down a well. It's like that's how much hope they have.
All right. I gave it a 6. I think that's adequate.
It's about the same. This is the next one, right? Anger.
Mm-hmm. So this is actually technically unused. This was never put in the final game.
Well, then it's not a game song.
It's in the soundtrack.
But I've never heard it.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Sounds like a volcano area.
Okay.
Or hot. Fire.
So the theory was that this was one of the unused Colossus songs called Devil, which does make sense.
Yeah, it does sound evil.
Apparently, though, according to the wiki, this song was used at the beginning of the game when you put Mono down on the altar.
That doesn't make sense.
I know it doesn't, which is why I'm glad they didn't use it.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit.
This is far too dark.
Besides, he doesn't really seem like an angry character. Brave, maybe.
Foolish.
Foolish, definitely.
I mean, I like the song as it is, but like if it was in that context, this would be much lower. So what'd you rate it?
It has a Jaws feel to it. I just realized.
I hear it.
I gave it a 6. It's like it didn't really wow me. There wasn't really much to really go on. Because one, it didn't really feel like a Colossus sound, and it seemed more like an area, but I didn't remember what kind of area this would be. Maybe closer to like the desert. Probably would have been one of my guesses. Man, it wasn't the greatest of songs. I'm guessing the last song is also an unused one.
Nope. Well, I gave it a 6.5. And kind of like the same reason. Like I do like it as its own song, but man, if that was in context, this is so unfitting. But moving on.
Moving on to the end. To the last song of the soundtrack.
So we've technically heard this already.
This is the beginning song?
This was the Cold Steel sounding one.
It was very country sounding at the start. With a bit of like that western or like the medieval sounding. It's country meets medieval.
That sounds terrible.
It's actually rather unique if you think about it.
Unique does not always mean good.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody can make it work.
Do it.
Midwestern, medieval. Or I think it could work.
Do it. I want to hear it. Anyone.
Just like instead of old Shakespearean language, everybody has like a southern drawl.
Yeah, okay, I want to hear it. Anyway, as the title implies, this is a reprise on the song that plays somewhere originally, but which means that like this is a much more condensed version. So like you'll hear the bigger like basis of it quicker.
Where's this played though?
This specific version is played if you linger on the main menu So like you start the game and don't press anything. Then it's essentially like the demo movie music.
Okay.
But again, like the
I like
last
it
one,
though.
I gave it a 10.
I give this one a 7.
God, I want to hammer Dulcimer so bad.
Why don't you just save up for one?
I have much more important things to buy.
Just get one just to get it out of the way.
I don't have the space for it either.
Makes sense, I
They're
guess.
like this big,
Well, eventually you'll have the space for it
maybe. Hopefully.
whenever you move out of your room.
Yeah, that'll be it for the Shadow of the Colossus portion.
Yep. Overall, it was good. Though, so here, like I said before, it's a gripe, but it's like not a bad thing overall. Like, I like the songs that sounded the same, but because they sounded the same, it was hard to really expand as the reason as to why I like them.
I get it.
Like, I know you get it. It's just it kind of feels a little dull for trying to explain. For like not dull for me, but just like dull to. It's like, oh yeah, I like this song. Well, why? Well, because it's the same as these other songs. That's why I like it.
I like
the sameness.
B song. Well, why do you like B? Because it sounds like A. Oh, I like C song. Why? Because it sounds like B. Okay, it sounds like A.
It's kind of like why you like certain songs from certain bands, or like for say like Circus Survive. I like this song because it sounds like a song from Juturna. Or like this song because it sounds like Blue Sky Noise, which is also sounds like Juturna. Or like Rise Against because I like this song, which sounds a lot like I am forgetting that album name.
Don't say it. It's a cursed album.
Is it?
Yeah,
Why?
because they sold out a Win commercial.
I mean, did people not want them to succeed?
If you're in the punk scene, success is selling out.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's dumb. But I mean, it's not like they like drastically changed and became a boy band. They literally have like the same like beliefs and causes. They're just more widespread. Why is that a bad thing?
Because they're making money now. The fact that they're profiting off of it just means they're part of the problem.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying with those comparisons. Although I feel like those I have a better time explaining why I like them. It's like, for example, like when I say Blue Sky Noise, like there's some songs on Blue Sky Noise that remind me of like. No. It wasn't Blue Sky Noise. It was Descensus.
Is that the sandcastle one? Or no, it's like a bug with a person.
That's Blue Sky Noise.
No, there's one where it's like a bug. It's next to like a person's head, and it's like holding the person.
That might have actually been the demo for Blue Sky Noise. I have the album arts. I'll look them up really quick.
Because actually, no, I think it is the sandcastle with the the appendage.
Appendages, Blue Sky Noise B-sides.
What? Is it literally a B-side?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like the unreleased songs from Blue Sky Noise.
Okay then. Today I learned.
But anyway, the thing with the census. What is that? It's like a turtle shell with like a snake wrapping around it.
I thought it was an octopus.
It's got like a human face.
It's like a tentacle.
Album art's weird.
Yeah, theirs specifically.
But anyway, there's a song on the census. I'm forgetting the name of. I think it's Always Begin. Sounds a lot like um, Mandala from On Letting Go, but with like modern like writing styles. Anyway, I don't know where we're going with this.
You're just saying that you have a better time explaining it.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess that wraps it up for Shadow of the Colossus portion.
And now we have personal songs.
Which we're starting to do again. Because we're not forgetful anymore. Well, we are, but not as forgetful.
So we'll be starting with my song, Land of Blue Skies from Trails of Cold Steel 1.
Which is funny because it kind of seems very similar to Shadow of the Colossus.
That's exactly why I picked it.
I didn't pick it up on first. Being 100% honest. I didn't correlate the two.
Yeah, I literally picked this song because of Shadow of the Colossus.
I mean, there is a Colossus, technically.
Yes, and it's terrifying.
Is it? Oh, you have that
Megalophobia. Megalovania. Did it? Yeah, I think it's the Septarian of Earth?
Yeah, Septarian Earth, and then in Brionia is the Septarian of Fire.
And together they make the Septarian of Steel.
Somehow.
So yeah, this song is easily in my top 5 in the whole series.
Really?
Yeah, I love it so much for obvious reasons.
The Celtic?
It's not Celtic at all. What?
Sounds very Celtic.
No.
With the wind instrument?
Is this a joke?
If I said it wasn't.
It's a pan flute. Eric, you're Hispanic.
This is true.
Okay, well, forget that ever happened.
You can cut it out if you want.
No, I'm leaving that in. So I like this song because it's very South American.
And Celtic.
Good God. This song actually makes me want to buy a chromatic pan flute so I can cover it.
I don't think I've ever seen a chromatic pan flute.
They're huge.
Pan flute. Holy moly.
Yeah, they're massive. They're like this long.
Is it like an actual flute?
No. They're like those tubes that go and like around and like blow into them from the top.
That sounds weird.
Have you never seen a pan flute?
I've never seen one.
Huh.
I don't think it's used in Puerto Rican music.
I can't say it either yes or no, but it's definitely like indigenous South American style like thing.
Yeah, my Mexican heritage isn't very ingrained into me. That's the side of the family I technically don't really see. Except for rare occasions.
Anyways. So, aside from me picking this because of Shadow of the Colossus, I just picked it because also, it's one of my favorite songs overall. Especially now it's not like a boss theme.
Yeah, they have really good boss themes. Outside of that, like the road themes, I guess you could call them, or like
field
music. This probably would be up there for me. I feel like there's a lot of more stronger songs. Like the one outside Celtic.
Yep. Skies of a Strange Land.
Yeah, that one. The one for Legram.
The road or...
Yeah, the Legram Road. Or what is it called? Legram By Road?
I don't remember the song that plays there. Off the top of my head.
Then... You obviously have the old schoolhouse.
That's not a field theme, but...
It's a kind of field theme.
It's a dungeon song.
It's a dungeon field.
Technically, it actually only plays in, like, the one room.
Is it sad that I want to replay the first two games?
If you're still in the middle of 4, guess.
I mean, eventually I'm gonna do like one whole long playthrough.
God.
But remember, I mean, I've beaten the games or most of them already, so it's gonna be easier and not like a slog. Actually, I didn't beat number 2 on the PS4, so that one's
Beat it
gonna.
on the Vita.
I beat it on the Vita, but I gotta see if I can transfer the data somehow.
I don't think you can from Vita. Or maybe you can. I think you have to upload it to PSN.
I might be able to then.
Because I remember there was that workaround for the PS3 versions to the PS4 versions.
I'll have to look into that later.
Yeah, this song is great because it uses very modern instruments, which like it's literally using a regular steel string acoustic. It's using a regular drum set. It's using pan flutes. And I want to say there's a double bass in there. It's very modern, but it still sounds very like, kind of true.
It's not very false.
Anything else you got?
No, I mean I like this. I like it, but it's not as good for me personally because I remember it being as a very sloggy point in the game.
Yes, we know. Oh, I mean, you're in like the most popular opinion in the series. Chapter 3 sucks.
It does, and it's not even
fun.
It's not fun because it's a massive area. Like, this is gonna be a small tangent. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna go all into it.
Welcome to and more.
This is the and more section of VGOSTRAM. So, the part I don't like is you still need to grind, but all the enemies are so far apart, and you can't get triple. What was it called? Triple.
I don't think those even existed back then.
Yeah, it did. There was double and triple. There was single just by going behind them.
Oh,
there
advantages.
Yeah, the
I
advantages.
thought you were talking about linking.
No, that wasn't until 3. But the advantages were like how I killed so many enemies early on in the game.
Yeah.
Because it just gave you such a good advantage point. I mean, why not? So, I mean, it was much easier in the first 2 games. You just like hit them and go behind them eventually. At least that's how I did it.
You can swap your character out and it would freeze the enemy.
Wait, really?
Yeah. They patched that with 3 or 2, I think.
That sucks. Well, I didn't find this out until later, but if you use Altina in 3 and 4, that she just crushes them because Clown Soleus just has a wide hitbox. Yeah. Same thing for Tita. Her hitbox for her range is so massive it hits behind enemies. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, it's facing me. Boom. It knocks down. So I tend to use whoever I can abuse.
I just stuck with my best girl team.
I mean, when you can like burst down enemies easier, it's very convenient. And you know me, I tend to stick with the main character. For like,
I mean, I always have Rena in my party.
Well, no, as the overworld character.
Oh.
I almost never choose anybody outside of that.
Emma all day.
Even outside, like, I'd never even choose Crow. For whatever reason, I have to have, like, the main character.
I respect your choice. So what would you rate it?
I rated like a... It's hard because it's... The problem with rating that song is there's a lot of good songs in the game, which... I'll just rate it a 7 because it's not like a bad song. It's a song that's in a game with a lot of good songs.
Okay.
What would you rate it?
10. Easy. Like I said, it's in my top 5 of the whole series. That includes 1, 2, 3, 4. First chapter, second chapter, third, Azure, and Zero. And I haven't heard it. I haven't been deep enough into Hajimari to say.
Yeah, I would have to go. I honestly want to make a playlist for just that series, just for when I play games, especially on stream, because those won't get copyrighted.
Maybe.
No, they're fairly safe. A lot of people tend to use them both on YouTube and on
Twitch
streams. Yeah.
You know, the thing you use.
Yeah.
All right.
I totally don't use OnlyFans to stream. Anyways, for my song I chose for this week is for Resident Evil Remake, which is the Neptune Tank, which is probably my favorite song in the first game. Well, since it's a remake, which is funny because it's like when I first heard that they remade this game and they had a shark tank, I was both excited and terrified.
I mean, the sharks were there in the first one.
They were, but it was like more in a hallway. It wasn't like an
a
actual
flooded square.
Yeah, it wasn't like a dedicated like aquarium or anything.
Also, that original hallway, like, you know, I speed run, whatever the past tense is. That like little section is such a joke
Because they're easy to dodge.
You literally just hold forward, and they won't hit you. And then in the remake, like, yeah, like there are workarounds, but like
They will generally hit you once.
Yeah, I always get hit once.
I get lucky. Sometimes they like go up to me and they just turn around. But it's random. I want to say the race we did, I got lucky and didn't get attacked. Or at least didn't get hit.
I'm still sad.
And you lost?
I mean, it makes sense. I went for the best route without being able to practice. And you did just any percent with practicing. But the fact that I still lost by like, what, 1 second?
There was a lot of points, though. There was a lot of catching up and falling behind on both sides.
It was rough. It was fun.
It was fun. But I still beat you.
Yeah. I finished my games on time at least.
So did I.
Uh-huh.
That run. I want to say the last game I sped run was also on time.
Which one was that?
I don't remember, but I know it was done on time. I streamed it and I don't remember what I did.
The only game...
Oh, it was X4.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I only failed Shantae the first time. And that was
not even due to your fault.
For a little context, it was our very first event, and we were holding it at my cousin's house. And during my run of Shantae, which was the half genie hero, I was doing a 100% run, and then just my cousin was wandering around the house with some other people, and then he just like, oh, what does this switch do? He flips the switch, and all the power goes out for the TV and the consoles in that general area. I was like, oh.
I was gone at this point. The reason he flipped it was because I went to go get food, and he was trying to figure out how to turn on the light. So I went to go get food. I ended up getting Jack in the Box. That was like a little bit of a ways away. I come back and I text him. I'm like, hey, I'm outside. He opened the garage. It's dark, so he doesn't know how to navigate that part of the house. And he doesn't know what lights or what switches are for the lights. So he goes into one of the rooms, hits the switch, and that one just happens to be the one that powers the TV.
I mean, whatever. Later that year is when I officially ran it for the very first official speedrun. And I did it with 50-something minutes to spare. So it was all right. It worked out in the end.
Well, your mess up was that you didn't even practice that one.
Yeah.
You just went, you went in dry, pretty much.
And that was when we were both still doing 2 games.
Yep.
That was rough.
That was really rough.
It was fun, but oh my God.
Well, because one game ended up doing good, and the other one we ended up not doing nearly as good because obviously one was more practiced.
So I did Resident Evil Remake, Jill, best percent. And I remember I played the whole game. Oh no, you were asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
I got hit by yawn, and
I fall asleep at every event at some point.
I mean, it makes sense. Sometimes we go to like 1 in the morning
Yeah,
after
that
like
one.
starting at like 2.
Yeah, but like trying to host the, at least on the last one, hosting the event was a lot of energy and a lot of getting together. I needed like a small little respite during the most, well, I won't say the most boring, at least the least exciting one for me, and we at least.
I mean, yeah, it was not a fun year. No, like almost no one showed up. It was just you, me, and Vincent,
And
and
Mike.
Andrew.
And Mike.
I mean, he didn't play a game though.
He was just there.
He was the hype man that Andrew called the worst hype man he's ever seen.
um, well, we'll see how next or this year's will go.
Possibly July-ish.
As long as it's after 4th of July.
We going somewhere?
Uh, no, it's because my cousin is going to actually going to up north for school. She's gonna be moving up there.
I have no idea when or any control over when it happens. So
It's well, yeah, I know, but I know the last pretty much before 4th of July is when it's supposed to be happening when she leaves.
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about this because it's so stupid. So I got hit by yawn, and if you get hit by yawn, you're supposed to go down to the medicine room on the other side of the mansion to get like the serum.
Which isn't really far. It's just an annoyance.
Yeah, and like okay, and I thought like it's poison, whatever. I'll find a blue herb. Yawn poison is not the same as regular poison, so I beat the entire game while being poisoned by yawn the entire time.
It was a very special condition.
And yeah, you were asleep for all of it, so I think literally only me and Kevin and Mike were awake.
What about Andrew? I could have sworn he was still there.
He bounced super early, remember?
Oh yeah.
Because that was like literally like the first time we ever hung out.
That was probably like the worst time for him to join.
Yep.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
But we made up for it later that year.
That's right. We had a second event, didn't we?
October.
That's when I did X8 and Devil May Cry 4.
Dude, that day was super
That was
long.
bad. That was bad. There was a lot of fails.
Well, I was just gonna say like on my end, like, I woke up I had a haircut at 7, which is like all the way up in like Northern Rancho.
Yeah, I remember.
So I had to like wake up at 6:30, and then just as soon as I got back, I was like setting up the entire house for the speed run. And that was when we had like a big audience too.
Oh yeah, that was our biggest turnout though. And then that was the one where I failed 2 runs, which was sad. The first one I failed was okay, so that was for X8 was the first one. Oh my god. And I practiced it so much just to make sure I would not mess up that part. But sure enough, live running that one, I messed up for what was it, like 20 minutes?
Yep.
And just because of that, it ruined my time. I would have passed with like 10 minutes or like maybe 5 minutes to spare. But I was pretty upset. I was upset at that stupidity. And then DK gave up.
Oh boy, that's a whole nother thing.
That was he gave up because I think someone like made an off comment, like in joking, and he took offense to it, which is why he ended up just stopping.
Yeah, he was playing was a Sonic Generations.
Yeah,
And he was doing so good at the beginning.
He was doing good at the
probably like the first half hour.
Yeah, the first half hour was really good, and then after a while, he just couldn't keep it up. Like he lost steam.
It's like I left because I had to go get dinner, and then like by the time I came back, like everyone else was gone. Like what happened to the run?
Yeah, it was very awkward.
Overall, that was a fun time though.
It was. Hopefully we can get back into getting more speedrunners.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep during your Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
I was passed out. Because
Actually, I think
you
that was the
started
first...
at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a late one. I didn't fall asleep that day. Like, in terms of, I didn't fall asleep during somebody's run. Somehow. That was a very long tangent.
Yes, it was.
So, anyways, the Neptune Resident Evil. Oh,
I
man.
can't wait to see the timestamp on that.
Oh, that's so bad.
Actually, I can see the timestamp right now. 10 minutes.
10 minutes of, hey, this is the song. So we're going to talk about speedrunning. Oh, that's freaking great. Anyways, so pretty much the reason I like it is because it's a very Aqua themed part in the game, which is, I think they made brand new just for the remake version.
Yep.
It's also very creepy, and it's only played in this area, so it's literally like the favorite part for me, while also being like the most scariest for me. Because I'm pretty sure I mentioned to you in passing that growing up, I had like this huge like love of sharks, but at the same time, it was like vast like fear at the same time. It was like the respect / fear of an animal.
You kind of that's how I feel about space.
Yeah, but it's like so in third grade, like okay, starting in third grade up until maybe about sixth or seventh, we had to do like reports on like animals, and it would be like each year you would just pick an animal. Every year I picked a shark, a different shark, because I just liked sharks. So I'd pick great white, I'd picked bull shark, I picked tiger shark. And then after they're like, oh, it seems like you pick sharks every year. Why don't you pick like a completely different animal? I'm like, I mean, I guess there's not really other animals that I fear or dread to like want to encounter. So then I just like chose wolves because they're like dogs, but not as nice.
I mean, I wouldn't want to encounter a wolf. Have you seen how big they are?
Yeah, they're massive. And a dire wolf is bigger than that.
Yep.
That's like the love and fear of sharks, and then this whole part having like the aqua kind of like Jaws theme. It's always been like a fear hatred of mine. It's weird. It's a weird description for me.
No, I totally get it.
Especially since these are like zombie sharks. Actually, are they technically zombies? The animals aren't zombies, right? They're just T-virus monsters.
Yeah, they're just enhanced of like aggression.
Aggression.
Yeah, that word.
Don't worry, I suffer that.
All right. So this song is not really a song. It's more like ambience. It's like a 30 or 40-second loop of just like little tiny melody, and then like most of it's just like creepy strings.
Which isn't like spider strings.
Yeah, it's not heavy on vibrato. But so that little 2-step minor thirds melody, I don't know if you remember, I made like a little class demo out of it.
For school? Or just like...
I was teaching a few people.
Oh, yeah.
So the examples that use this like a little minor, like, so it's a minor third, and then it goes up a whole step, and the same thing. So like this song, Last Station from Hyperdimension Neptunia 1, terrible game, and terrible music too.
I actually like it.
It's not good.
Not bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's not bad.
It's pretty bad. I platinumed it, man. It's bad.
Oh, but that always makes it worse.
Not always. It
If
just
you
shows
don't-
the flaws more.
If you don't like a game inherently, and if you're trying to force yourself to platinum it, it's gonna make you hate it even more.
Yeah, the gameplay is just not good. Or just put it that play Rebirth 1 if you plan on playing the first game.
No, because then you can never understand the true power that is Compa
That is also
and
true.
her great grandpa. Not great grandpa, but her great grandpa.
There's a distinction. Her grandpa's OG. And possibly
For
in the
reals?
Mafia.
The dude is a straight up G.
It's a last station from first hyperdimension theme. And completely off and like a little more to it, but Enigma Machine from Dream Theater. Like it has like the same start, then it just starts doing its own thing. But it's kind of like the same feel. But anyways, yeah, this is probably one of the more standout songs from the first Resident Evil because there's honestly not a lot. You have like the 2 save room themes and maybe the guardhouse.
And this is also used in the Umbrella Chronicles game for
Yes,
one
it
of the
is.
levels.
It's used in stage
2.
2. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the better songs in Remake.
It is. I can attest to it.
Although nothing's going to beat the save room theme. It's essentially just like a win button.
Pretty much. All the safe room things tend to be very good.
Even the ones that aren't very good, like 4.
All right, give me that look.
You're giving me that look.
No, you keep looking at me and I just glancing over at you.
I was looking at you because you're glancing over at me. I thought you were giving me like
I was
the
looking
look.
past you actually onto the recommended page.
Yeah, so what would you rate it?
I'd rate it an 8 actually.
All right. That's pretty strong for like a small little loop.
Like I said, it's literally like one of my favorite songs or ambient noises in the game. It literally sticks out of me outside of like the save room thing.
I don't know why I said like it's really strong. I still gave it like a 7. It's like almost just as strong. So that'll wrap it up for the reviews.
Yep, that'll be it for this week. Did we have anything planned for next week? Or is it my pick?
It's your pick.
My pick. All right, so for the next episode, I actually want to do Pokemon Black and White, which
Good
also
choice.
goes into Black and White 2. Because they're essentially the same games, they just add maybe a few more songs.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to that because it's going to be the first Pokemon game that we're actually covering instead of just a song.
What was the one song?
The one song that I chose, that was for the character themes for
Oh, I tried Silver.
for Silver.
Sounds
So-
good to me. I mean, Gen 5 is probably my second favorite soundtrack.
It actually probably one of the best soundtracks. I would probably say that Gen 8 has a really, really, really good soundtrack.
I actually don't remember most of it.
I liked it a lot.
Even on that topic, I don't even remember 7 except for Howoli.
Well, I remember the Elite Four theme for that one. That one was good. And then the Necrozma theme, or it was Ultra Necrozma?
That's Ultra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
But yeah, we'll be doing that next episode. So that'll be it for this week. Again, leave comments, likes, subscribe, help us grow,
Engage.
engage. engage in the programming, follow in our footsteps, like music.
Or don't. It's your call.
Yeah, you can hate music. But anyways, yeah, that'll be it for this week's episode. I'm Eric. He's Cody.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That is. Where are people?
Bye.